Hello world, it's your boy, Mr. Bennett, and today is my first vlog video talking about my brand, along with letting the world know a little bit about myself, some of the things I've been through, some of my experiences, and how those things help me shape and mold and come up with the ideas that I come up with for my brand. So for starters, my name is Sylvester Bennett. I originally am from the Bronx. I grew up in Etowah Projects. I currently stay in Connecticut. Um, yes, I used to play basketball when I was young. Always been into clothing though. Always been into clothing. Couple of short stories throughout these vlogs just to give you guys insight on who I am, how my mind works, how I come up with these ideas, and just just trying to connect with people who have the same stories, who share the same struggles, successes, because we don't want to just always talk about struggling, you know what I mean? So, yeah, this is my first vlog. The clothes you've seen behind me is all the samples from my brand Handmade by Bennett. And Handmade by Bennett is a name that I came up with in 2014 when I originally started making clothing. The reason why I went with Handmade by Bennett, I know it's kind of long, is because my first initial piece I ever made, or I want to say the first task I took on with fashion, came from me actually trying to make a garment from scratch. And really, I didn't know what I was doing. I did have someone at a point in time showing me how to do things. I never really had time to, I never really practiced it, but just through him working on his items, I was able to pick up little things that I actually still use to this day. So I want to shout out to him first off. His name is Amari. He's from the Bronx as well. He has a brand by the name of Naramo. I haven't spoken to him in years, but I do want to shout him out because he was one of the people who actually showed me something and didn't really want nothing in return. To my thought, you know what I mean? To me, it felt like he didn't want anything in return, and I appreciated him for that. And still to this day, you know. Yeah. So back then, 2013, 2014, my life was a total 180 from what it is right now. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I also was rapping. I also boxed. So I was just trying to figure out what was my path in life. And I want to say with those things that I was trying to do, my personal life was in shambles during those times. So it was always like this disconnect where it's like, am I supposed to be doing this? Because I've always been into clothes. Since the day of me being in grade school, telling my mom at 9 years old, like, yo, mom, I want to go shopping for myself. And her actually allowing me to do that, where I had an older dude from my neighborhood. Shout out to him, Aaron. If you out there somewhere watching this, shouts to you, bro. You already know how we rock. Love you forever. My boy Ep.1. He's a day one for real. So back to that story. 9 years old, I tell her, yo, ma, I don't want you picking up my clothes anymore. I think I could do this myself. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm really 9 years old. And I appreciate my mom so much for actually trusting me to do that, because that day forth, without me knowing, it kind of put me on this path that I am on today. And trust me, I'm not perfect. Yes, I am doing my first vlog for this brand in 2025. And here I am telling you this is an idea that I came up with in 2014. So yes, once again, I'm not perfect. I had many things knock me off course, things that I felt that was good for me that knocked me off course. But for some reason, no matter if I'm doing good, doing bad, it always leads me back to clothing. I've been a clothing fanatic my whole life. There's not a brand that I haven't actually owned, worn, studied, you know. It's more of an art in it with me. Like I've noticed over the times of trying new things, it's like I love finding the art of it. And I feel that there's art in everything. Art is life. So that statement, when I first originally heard it, it stuck with me. And to this present day, I see that kind of being playing out. So yes, once again, I started this brand in 2014. At first I was modeling for different brands, just trying to, get my way into the game. And I actually linked up with the dude Omari, was modeling for his brand and just expressing to him what I was trying to do and what my thoughts was and all of that. He kind of gave me the courage, like, yo, bro, you could do this, bro. You could do this too, bro. Like, it's not as hard as it may seem. I know they tell you got to go to school, you got to do this, you got to do that. But I know you from just watching you. I know that this is something that you could catch on with quick. And thanks to him and thanks to myself being who I am, I can see something that I'm interested in. If I see it, I can see a person literally do it one time. And from there, I'll be able to understand and be able to build what I want to build. If you get what I'm saying. So throughout that process, yes, I said I was boxing. Before that, I was rapping. But when I was during that time of me learning the process of sewing, how to make garments and everything, I was boxing, just trying to figure out what I was going to do with myself. And a lot of people might not know that because I'm not a person that really walk with his head down. I'm pretty confident in myself, and I know what I'm capable of doing now in this present day. I also have a 4-year-old daughter, which was born during a very crucial time of me actually getting my brand together, getting it out there and everything. And I want to say me having her is one of the reasons why I'm sitting in front of this camera right now and I'm talking to you guys. I'll be honest with you. You know what I mean? It is tough making clothing. It is tough. It is tough. You have to deal with so much. And then when it's just you and say my significant other, my wife, it's even harder because here I am in a relationship where I'm bringing this person into my world, and they may like it, they may like the things that go on with it, but she hasn't been educating herself from the beginning as much as me. So I can't expect her to have, the same outlook of certain things that I see for the brand, but she actually does. And that's another thing that I appreciate. And that's another thing that actually pushes me even harder, to where it's like, I'm not going to settle for doing the easy things. I'm going to actually take on this hard task and complete this, not only just for them, but just for my family legacy. My mom crocheted actually before 2014, when I was actually just, testing the waters, seeing what I was doing, seeing what I was going to do. My mom actually made my first ever fashion piece. I believe this is in 2009. We had me and a couple of my friends from then. We went to a fashion show. I believe it was during Fashion Week, but it was a Sabbath fashion show. It was a brand that Swiss Beats was behind at one point in time. And if anybody out there remembers this fashion show, Shice Bub was the host. That day, I wore a sweater that my mom's created, all crochet. One of my designs that I drew up that she was able to crochet. So I don't want to say I'm the first person, but I would like to think I'm like kind of one of the first persons that people actually seen a crocheted hoodie from. It's just that, like I said, life getting knocked off focus, thinking other things is important, I kind of strayed away. And then I got back into it 2014. Now that stretch between, I want to say 2008, 2009, going into 2014 was my rapping phase. And sorry if I'm not if my timeline is if I'm jumping all over the place. This is my first vlog. I know I'm gonna get better at this, but the whole point of doing this vlog is just actually starting. Stop saying I'm gonna do things when everything is perfect, when nothing is perfect. So it's either you start or you'll continue being the person watching other people. So pardon me if I jump from subject to subject. I'm gonna do that. This is my first vlog. Bear with me. I will get better. Like I said, 2009. I did the hoodie. Nothing came behind that. End up doing a whole bunch of other things that we'll talk about in later stories, and things that I'm gonna briefly touch on because I really wanted to be about the brand, but I just wanted to give y'all a little bit of insight on me before I'm just throwing products in your face like, yeah, this is this and this and that. You know what I mean? As you can see, everything is behind me, so we're gonna get into that. 2009, nothing came after that. 2014, I link up with Omari. He's showing me little bits and pieces. I'm picking up on what I need to pick up on. I want to say the end of 2014, I was doing my first fashion show. And that was with another dude from my area in the Bronx, Uptown, Muggsy McFly. He has a fashion show every year, and he just happened to hit me up one day. Like, yo, bro, I see what you're doing. Like, be in my fashion show. And at the time, I told him, and he can contest to this. I'm like, yo, bro, the things that I'm creating right now, I don't really, you know what I mean? It's my first couple things. I don't really, I can feel like I do better. I was going to throw it all away. Luckily, I didn't. I went and I did that fashion show. And from there, people started to understand, okay, he's making clothing, which made sense because I'm a person that all my life I've been running around in your biggest and best brands. And throughout these vlogs, I will show old pictures just to validate what I'm saying. So you not just think you're talking to a square. And honestly, I want you to see my clothing and get that. But in the day and age we in, showing, proving is better than just talking and telling a person you did this, you did that. So to null and void that, as videos go on, we will get into that. 2014, to end of the 2014, 2015, I do his fashion show. It's around October, around that time, because he always does it around that time. So that's something I could easily remember. I do his fashion show. From there, I hit the ground running. I'm like, I bet. You know what I mean? I'm getting models. I'm getting this. I'm getting that. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And the one important thing I'm not doing is building my business structure. And the reason why I led y'all up to that, because that was a very important thing that I was not paying attention to in the beginning. I was just trying to build a brand. I didn't care about none of that. I'm just trying to do something to get my life on the right track. You know what I'm saying? So I do that. You know what I'm saying? Now I got models. I'm doing this. I think I want to say the following year, I did my own fashion show. Then 2016, I did it again. And now I'm gaining a little traction. I did a fashion show inside of a building in Harlem that's like a workspace for artistic people, creatives. Anything creative happens in this building, and they had a space. I did my first show there. Coordinated everything myself. Music, what the models was wearing. A person at the time that was in my life at the time helped me get the models. I will say that. Setting up the runway, everything. So these things that I'm talking about is pretty much to let you know that I've sort of made my bones in this situation, but I kept letting things that did not matter knock me off course. And those things was also because of my living situation. So I had to figure out something fast to do that could get me back to where I needed to be. And throughout time, yes, I was able to achieve that. But once again, those things knocked me off of my focus, the thing that makes me happy, the thing that makes me go. Now, you see the clothes behind me, right? I will say this. When I was first making clothing, I wasn't doing everything properly. So, in this day and age, everything you see behind me is things that I was trying to do that now, with the resources and things that I have at hand, I was able to perfect all of these years later. So I'm kind of going back to the beginning and I'm building up back to the present time of now. So I have a million ideas in my head. These things right here was just seeing what I originally came up with properly. You understand? So I don't want to like jump too fast ahead. So let me go back, because I do that a lot. I'm a Gemini. It's two people in here sometimes, just million thoughts. I do my own fashion show, start gaining traction. I'm thinking everything is going good. Rug sweep from underneath my feet. We're not going to get into that. We're going to focus on the stories at hand, which is the clothing. I'm still trying to make clothing. At this time, I actually missed out on a grand opportunity. I had some wax denims. And a lot of things y'all see now, I was doing then. So it was like things were happening fast where I could not capture the opportunities that I should have captured and capitalized on. I let it slip through my fingers. I got hit up to have one of my pieces at the Grammys on someone. Me being me, I choose something else over that I knew wasn't the right decision. And I still went with the wrong decision. So I want to say for these past 10 years of my life, it's been me making the right decisions for myself and now for my family. You understand? Because that's what matters at the end of the day. Like I said, rug sweep from underneath my feet. I still, during this time, have a second fashion show. When I do the second fashion show, I'm going to get the clothing off of this high shelf that was in the apartment that we was working in. And when I went to go get the bag of clothing, like literally every piece that was in the show was in this bag. So I don't know what I was thinking at the time. Right now, I'm about 150 pounds, maybe. At this time, I'm clearly like 130. Straight malnourished, just to give you something to laugh about. But that's definitely not the case now. But I go to grab the clothing off the shelf. I grab the clothing with one hand because I'm holding myself while I'm standing on something to grab it. So I grab it. When I go to bring it down, the whole entire bag just drops. Boom! I mess up my back. So, meanwhile, I got a show coming up in a couple of weeks. I have my first write-up from this show. So, with me saying that, I had someone reach out to, how would I say, I don't even know what to call these people at the present moment. I do have a name for it, but it's on the fly. He comes, he writes up. Let me not jump. I try to do the show. Everything's out of whack because now leading up into these 2 weeks, I don't have any help. Everything is going wrong. I'm still trying to figure it out, push through it. I do it. We get it done. Me and my boy, AB3, Gotta Be Sneakers. Look out for him. He has his own brand as well, and he's very heavy into footwear. Me and him do this fashion show where he shows his first shoe that he collabed with, I believe, Everlast on, and self-collab, because I don't want to be in the video lying. He bought his own sneakers, and he put his own things together on these sneakers. My show was a presentation of him in the beginning, showing his sneakers, letting everybody get a taste of what they got, signing up and being able to get orders, whatever it is. The back end of that show is supposed to be a fashion show. Me being in my head sometimes, trying to be super duper creative. I wanted to think about this whole new way to do the runway. Did not practice it, just saw it in my head. Yo, we gonna do this. Did not like it. It was terrible. Compared to my first show, night and day, sorry. First show, perfect. That's why I didn't even really touch on that too much. I wanted to tell y'all what was leading up to these breaks and where I'm at now today. that happens. Situation around me is chaotic. I ain't gonna lie at this time. Still trying to figure everything out. Still trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. I get the show done. Things on the other side of life start picking up for me. So now clothing get put back on the back burner. Right? Like literally right after the show. I don't know what I was thinking with doing that, but I did something. I started doing something else. Here come Muggsy again that following year. Yo, bro, you want to do my show again? Here I am doing my own shows, but now I'm turning back to do his show again as a co-main, because I will always come out before him, and I appreciate that because that shows that he respects what I do. And that's one of the things I do it for. I want people to respect what I do because y'all already respecting me for dressing and being a certain way. So why not get into this life and put my ideas out there and get people to like my story and buy into my story? Boom. We do that. I do the fashion show, but at this time, I'm totally in a different mind state. It's kind of like a party for me. I've just got a bunch of random stuff that I made. I threw it on the runway. Cool. Be there. People still liked it. They loved it, which is dope. But it wasn't the best representation of me. Cool. So now, throughout this time, I'm still making clothing and still worrying about other things, doing other things while trying to make clothing. And I'm not giving it my all. So in return, people are seeing things that they like, but I'm not liking it. You understand? So I'm saying all of that to say this. The stuff you see behind me are the things that I always wanted to create, that I did not have the resources to create, that now I do have the resources to create, and I'm trying to create them things. But I'm still only one person. So like I said, these videos is for me to grow that community, grow my brand, tell my story throughout my brand. Now, that little segment, first couple minutes of this video, I want to give y'all just a little brief synopsis on my journey. Throughout these videos, I'm going to go back to the past, tell stories, do this, do that. This is what it is, you know what I mean? But my main focus is to be on these clothes. And I want anyone who likes what they see or want to help me make this a bigger thing, who believe in what I got going on, who share the same struggles, who share the same successes. These videos is the start of me reaching out to y'all, because it's people everywhere, and not everyone is the same, but we do sometimes share certain circumstances that may not seem like it's the same, because we're not the same, but it's the same, if that makes sense. Yes. Behind me, this collection. Yes. My first collection consisted of not these same fabrics, but these same things. And as you can see, you have this side of things, then you have this side of things. So what I do with my brand is I try to give you my young self and now my older self with a healthy medium. Meaning, you might see pieces that's logo heavy. You might see pieces with no logos. You might see pieces that may not, if you've seen everything individually, it may not be like, where's he going with this? But when you see it all together, it makes sense. And also, I'm going to tell you some of the inspirations behind these things. Now, I am not your ordinary designer. Not everything that I am inspired by is something that a person should be inspired by. But for me, I like to find the art in things and the creativity in things, and that's just me. I love learning, and I love art and being creative. That's just me. So as long as I'm learning and I'm creating, I'm actually happy. Like, I'm extremely happy. Everything else in my life is going good. So this is why I'm able to feel like I'm able to hear and talk to you guys now and not be so self-conscious of what I'm saying or being scared to say certain things. I'm not even, that's not what we doing here. These videos is just solely so you can get to know me. I get to know you guys through these videos, through your comments, likes, shares, subscribers. I need it all right now. This brand has to get to where it needs to be. When I say I've made numerous things, you guys, I felt were non-existent, because you never know what someone is doing in a whole nother area. But I felt was non-existent. When I put them out there in the internet too early, or just being thirsty because it's fire, I think the world got to see it, and not having the proper structure to put these things out and get these things to the eyes and the masses of what it needs to be, I start to see them in different places, and oh damn, how did he come up with that? That's a whole nother story. We not gonna be soldier boying in these videos at all. I'm gonna say that, and I'm leaving that statement there, because I don't want to be like, oh, I did this first, I did that first, I did this first, because then it gets, that's when things get kind of, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to show you guys some of the designs today, and in future videos I'm going to explain the rest. Now, like I said, many things that inspire me are not usually things people get inspired by, but I am who I am. I am heavily influenced by crime. I watch mafia documentaries, old drug dealing documentaries. Those things hold my interest so crazy. I don't know why. It's just, it is what it is. Stories about people who stole a whole bunch of money, those things. Also, my neighborhood, being from Ep.1 projects, it's a bunch of buildings. It's a bunch of people. It's a bunch of, I like to say silhouettes, meaning like the way clothing, that's not gonna make sense. So let me go back. A bunch of people, a bunch of mind states, a bunch of different styles, a bunch of way people do things, different ways of doing things and everything. But one thing that this place has taught me is how to make the things that I have control of work for me and get the most out of it. And I think that's pretty much anybody's story that's growing up in a New York neighborhood. So I don't want to make it seem like that's super unique or super this, but like what I did was the things I was seeing every day, I kind of put it all together in this gumbo pot to create this brand. And overall, I want to give people a feeling when they put on my clothing. It's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want you to feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like how I used to see those dudes out there that was getting money, doing what they was doing, or whatever it is was doing, because not everybody were doing illegal things that inspired me. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm just some OD kid not even a kid anymore. But I don't want to make it seem like I'm this designer that's just inspired by, crime. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I wanted to touch on that because there's things that you may see and you be like, why did he do that? Or why? But just understand, this is what it inspired me. You understand? So, like I said, I'm seeing all of these things. I'm taking all of this in. And at first, in the beginning, I didn't understand, why am I seeing everything this way? And as I got older and I got into my path, what God had planned for me, it started becoming clearer. You understand what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, this is why I noticed. Because sometimes I've gone back in my head and remembered how a friend of mine or somebody in my projects came outside dressed one day and how the clothes fit. And that might play into the ideas that I have now. You understand? So that's another reason why I wanted to say that and touch on that. Because there's somebody out there that's going to be trying to think of a brand, who's going to be looking for inspiration. And inspiration is around us every day, all day. And nothing brings me more joy in messing something up and then actually figuring out how to fix it. There's inspiration in that. You understand? So it's a lot that goes into this, and sometimes it can be overwhelming when you're the designer, you're the accountant, you're the marketing, you're this, you're that. I don't have all the answers, and that's why I'm starting these videos, so you guys can help me as well as I can show you guys what I'm capable of doing. And not just saying help me, like I don't want to be crying out for help, because that's not what I'm doing. I am trying to gain a solidified following. And one of those things I learned I had to do was get in front of this camera and let you guys see who I am, talk to you guys, be vulnerable, speak about things that might be uncomfortable for me to speak about, talk about things that people may not know about me, because at the end of the day, this might be the thing that make us connect. So this first blog, yes, I'm just talking about myself and giving y'all a synopsis of what's going on with me, what has been going on with me, what's led up to these moments. And I'm going to dive back into a lot of those things and break it down fully for you guys. Now, I'm going to show one piece today. I'm going to take it off the rack. I'm going to put it on so you guys can see what I got going on. Yes, you get this point of view of me for right now. As time goes on, it will get better. My videos will get better. Everything will get better. I am learning on the fly with this. And I wouldn't say learning on the fly because I've been used to being on the camera rapping, but I've been spending a lot of time. I've now spent more time behind the camera, behind the scenes, than I have spent on camera. So it's all about me getting comfortable again and reigniting that information that's stored in my head. So like I said, I'm going to show you guys one piece before the video ends so you could get what's going on here. And look out for more. Welcome to Handmade by Bennett. I'm Mr. Bennett. Shout outs to you. Like, comment, subscribe, dislike, whatever you want to do. Just do something, because I'm doing something. And that's this here. So once again, let me show you this piece. This is the statement piece from the brand as well. That's why I just want to show this one piece today. I want to highlight this. And this is 100% mohair. So yeah, this is the brand. This is the main piece of the brand. 100% mohair. Everything correctly. Perfect. This is perfect. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wore this jacket the other day on Valentine's Day out with my wife to eat. Millions of compliments. Millions of compliments. That's a nice jacket. That's a great jacket. And just insight on me, bro. The introvert in me. I'm forgetting to tell these people to follow my brand. I'm just taking the compliments. Just thinking like, you know what? Hey, maybe I don't even know what I was thinking, but maybe I was just shy, just being put on the spot like that. But yes, I got a million compliments for this jacket. This jacket, 100% mohair, very expensive to make, and I'm getting it done. All of my garments are made in the U.S. Yeah, Handmade by Bennett. This is the statement piece from my first collection, and that collection is called The Rebirth. And throughout that collection, I'm pouring all of the things that inspired me into this one collection. I want you guys to get used to seeing me do this. I want you guys to get familiar with the brand. And yes, Mr. Bob Bennett, Handmade by Bennett. Follow me on Instagram at Handmade by Bennett. Once again, follow me on Instagram at Handmade by Bennett. Like, comment, and subscribe. A lot more is coming soon. I just want to get this first video out to you guys, show you what I've got going on. We're going to talk some more. I'm going to get back to you guys with a lot more content. I have a photo shoot today at 2:30, so I have to get ready for it. And that's another reason why I didn't show everything, because because I want to keep everything the way it is till after the photo shoot. But look out for more content from me. I will be uploading content of me doing these photo shoots, of pictures of me from the past, just so you could get an understanding of what I got going on, and you can understand what Handmade by Bennett is and where it all comes from. Shout outs to you guys. I want to say rest in peace to my mom. She died March 2nd. And, I just want to, make sure I get that in this video, because she's not here to see it in the present day. But I know she's watching over me, and she is one of the reasons that I have the courage to do this video today and further on out. Thank you guys. Mr. Handmade by Bennett. Follow me on Instagram at Handmade by Bennett. Bennett is Bennett. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said, just a brief synopsis on who I am, what I got going on, and what's more to come. Stay tuned, guys. Thank you. Shout out to y'all.